Get out the vote efforts for the 2020 presidential campaign are already canvassing America. Absent from the scene is ACORN, the Association of Community Organizations for Reform Now. Once considered among the most successful groups of its kind, it's now on the books as one of the most catastrophic suicides in nonprofit history. Today, two whistleblowers tell about the price they paid when they worked on the inside to expose corruption. Today, ACORN may be best known for these infamous undercover recordings.
Is it against the law in Maryland? Prostitution?
Made by conservative citizen journalists posing as a pimp and a prostitute.
Dancing?
It's not dancing, trust me.
But dancing is considered an art? I mean, you know,
sex is kind of like dancing, right?
Yeah, some great sex. So
yeah.
ACORN employees caught on camera coaching on how to disguise illegal activities, evade taxes, and get government benefits.
But when the police ask you, you don't know where it's coming from. It's what we're trying to tell you.
All right. Let me give you a
ACORN insisted the video was selectively edited, but fired the employees.
The explosion occurred when the fake pimp and fake prostitute videos came out. And so that's where it went really crazy with the media.
ACORN's real problems actually started years before, according to ACORN volunteers Michael McCrae and Marcel Reed, who joined the group founded by liberal activist Wade Rathke.
We gave people in marginal communities the opportunity to believe that they could actually do something. And there was a very specific formula for it. You want a crosswalk? We'll get a crosswalk painted. And every time they cross that street or see that mailbox or see that light, it reinforces in them that I did something that you can actually see.
But for all its good, ACORN had a dark side. It was exposed when Reed was elected to ACORN's national board and discovered embezzlement and cover-up. She turned to McCrae, an attorney and accountant, to help figure it out.
We were literally finding hundreds of accounts, hundreds of organizations, and people, board members, our friends, their names were on documents that they didn't know anything about.
The fact that ACORN wasn't one group, but many organizations, made figuring out the embezzlement all the more difficult.
Who are we? There was a board meeting in New Orleans where there was a presentation about the embezzlement, and it seemed like every other meeting they would come back and report that there was more money missing. You know, it was just under $1 million when we walked in. By lunchtime, it was, well, we found another 500,000. By dinner time, it was up to, we reached the second million.
It turns out Dale Rathke, the brother of ACORN's founder, had been discovered embezzling funds 8 years earlier, but it was kept secret. What's worse, he was reportedly allowed to continue handling ACORN's finances.
What should have happened was that anyone who benefited from the embezzlement or anyone who knew about the embezzlement and covered it up should have been removed. And so there was a battle between, shall we really do a full audit or shall we have an internal review or something and we say that we cleaned up the books? So the conflict was the entrenched members who had gone along with the embezzlement versus the board members who wanted to really have it cleaned up.
What was the ACORN 8?
Those were the 8 members of the board who refused to let the embezzlement and mismanagement and malfeasance, if indeed that's what it was, go by. So it was the most organized resistance. But they forget they had trained us.
Right.
And they were startled and thought that it had to be some outside influence. Someone had to be funding us or whatever. No one funded us.
But this was ACORN board members doing what we were trained to do. This was ACORN board
members doing, yeah.
What we knew how to do.
We were not going to stand down and allow you to destroy it and all the good work without a good heave-ho. And we gave them a good heave-ho, and they're shocked. But we're organizers.
About the same time, ACORN was also batting down voter registration fraud allegations left and right. Investigations in Nevada, Wisconsin, Missouri, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Indiana. Convictions in Colorado Springs, Kansas City, Missouri, and King County, Washington.
The incidence of fraud, people actually coming to the polls fraudulently to vote, is very small.
ACORN had received at least $50 million in federal tax money and endorsed political candidates such as Barack Obama. By December 1st, 2009, Congress was interested.
The allegations against ACORN just keep growing and growing and growing. The more we learn about the organization, the less it looks like a grassroots community organization and more like a criminal enterprise, nationwide criminal enterprise.
Funding dried up and ACORN declared bankruptcy in 2010. Meantime, the whistleblowers found themselves smeared by the group they'd tried to save. What happened to you as you tried to get to the bottom of this?
Oh my goodness, I was attacked.
By whom?
It was ACORN staff. It was senior staff at ACORN. I was barred from going into my own building, you know, into the ACORN office here in D.C.
And so that was the thing that kind of that got Marcel and got me, is that the staff, the people who are supposed to be supportive of what our policies that are set by the board, they are now undermining and attacking the very board members who are trying to right the wrong, who are trying to fix the problem.
Instead of being silenced, they decided to keep speaking out as whistleblower advocates.
I asked to see the books, and the next thing I knew, I went from my ideas being good and powerful and strong and forward-leaning to a pariah. Welcome to whistleblowing.
Thank you.
Today, they run an annual summit to recognize and defend whistleblowers. ACORN eventually put the amount of embezzled funds at $5 million, but refused a forensic audit. Rita McCrae say they believe ACORN lives on, running silently under different names. In fact, founder Wade Rathke declined our interview request, but is currently listed as chief organizer for a group called ACORN International, where he also runs an internet radio station.
You're listening to Wade's World, a Voice of the People program.
What we thought was 6 entities was really 300 entities. The ACORN shell went away, but now you've still got ACORN International, and you've got all these other regional affiliates that are still, as Marcel said, they're, you know, humming right along.
By the way, in 2008, ACORN reported that it had registered more than 1.3 million new voters in 21 states in less than 2 years.